Now, even though I plan to whine like a spoiled baby squirrel in this video about the couple deal-breaking annoyances of this setup, when you look at the footage, you're just like, hot damn, I've never done anything better in my life.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I just got back from the most incredible day. I was just going for a simple walk, and then I saw a deer, and I was like, oh boy, it's luck day today. And then I've never got better footage. Is it because of the prime lens? Is it because of the 6K 60 RAW? I don't know, man. But hot damn you, I knew you would be good, and you're too good for me, and we don't deserve it. Goodbye forever. So today we're reviewing the new Nikon Z6 III with the Zikor. Frickin' 600mm 6.3. And thank you again, Camera Canada, for the deal. I wouldn't have pounced if it wasn't that type of deal. I'm usually searching for used only. But this, I was like, okay, let's just try it. I hate how much I love it. I can't afford that. The very first thing I saw was just a little toad, and I was like, what's that? Oh my god, he ate a fly. I was like, did I get that? This was in frog detect autofocus, and it actually worked pretty good. Saw a rare squirrel running, pretty smooth, pretty magical. Not that magical when I was following it, but whatever, man. We're just starting slow here. I saw a robin. This is 6K 60 RAW. I'm seeing a little moire in the feathers. It's not perfect. It's not perfect RAW, but it's decent enough. Here's animal eye detect. It took a little while to latch on, but then you got him throwing up the berry at least. So we had some moments, and I'm just like, hot damn. Like, that's sharp as hell. Sharp as tornadoes. You could punch in on it. Beautiful image there, and the colors and the stabe. The very first thing I noticed was just how stable it looked in that viewfinder. I was like, oh, that's rock solid. That's Panasonic level. Right on. When you move, it's a little Fuji style jerks. It's not perfect, but if you're just standing there, for the most part, not bad. Saw a little song sparrow. We got a bunch of comparisons with 6K 60 RAW, 4K 120 with the crop, which is also RAW, by the way. That's incredible. No one's talking about that. And then HD 240 cannot be done in RAW, but it's still 10-bit 420. But punching on into 4K 120, I gotta be honest with you, it looks hot damn good. That's 4K 120 RAW. No one was saying that in the press release. They're just like, oh yeah, 4K 120 was the crop. It's not as good. It's a crop because it's RAW, by the way. So that's 12-bit RAW. Yeah, that's nice. And when you're doing wildlife, like, it's kind of annoying that you have full frame and then you punch in, but it's not annoying at all when you're doing the wildlife. It's like, oh, I want more reach always. So side by side, it's like, I don't know, Nikon exposed a little better on the 4K 120 RAW in this shot. So like, it just looks better. It's like, it's really good, but it's so nice to be able to have that little mode. Like, you punch in, get closer, and you're slower, and it still looks really good. Which brings us to the first devastating flaw that I just cannot believe Nikon did this to me. Like, you want to create perfection? You basically did it, except for this dial that is locked at all times. The only way to move it is to stick your nail in that middle spot. It's really irritating. I thought maybe it wouldn't bother me. So like, you're here, okay, because I'm doing comparisons all the time. So it's like, okay, 6K 120, and then I'm just like digging, which way was it? Left is the next one. Yeah, okay, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. It's so irritating. Like, if I'm just going out and I'm getting a bunch of footage, okay, I'm holding it down here. I'm thinking, okay, switch it with the left hand while it's down there. But like, once you're up there and you want to get, and I do, 6K 60 RAW and then HD 240 back to back, it's like, no. You could technically. I should have done that more. That's actually really easy. But like, you shouldn't have to be taking your hands off anything. It could have been right here. Just boom, and no lock. Didn't you learn from Sony a7S III mistakes? Okay, here's our first shot of HD 240p. It's not bad. It's not great. It's a little noisy. It's not the sharpest thing you ever seen in your life, but It's like as good as the Sony a7S III. It's a 5% crop, you don't notice it. And because of the prime lens that Nikon has, look at this. He got scared. Ah, oh, that is cute. Oh, he got scared of something, a bug. I mean, is it as nice as the 4K 120? Not really. Actually, that doesn't look the greatest. It looks a little soft here, but whatever. Bad lighting, bad angle, bad videographer. For 6K 60 RAW, this blackbird, he was just like sticking his mouth out, dying in the heat or something. I don't know what he was doing, but I crept a little closer to him, and just, it's such a beautiful image. There's noise in it. I'm not denoising it. I know that RAW means that, like there's no noise reduction, you can do it yourself. I'm never doing it. I love the noise. It's just like organic looking. It's beautiful noise. And he tried to misdirect me. I was like, hey, I'm coming over here to follow you. Look how sharp that is. It's insane. This is why I was telling you, like, I want a prime lens. Primes are always better. They're just sharper, more 3D pop, more stable, lighter is the best thing about this whole thing. This setup weighs like very similar to an APS-C with a zoom, like the Fuji X-T4 with the 100 to 400. It's like very similar weight. You don't notice it at all. And I just love using a prime. It's the only thing you have to focus on is getting the bird in your frame instead of zooming and doing all this stuff. The animal eye detect was very good all day long. There's only like a couple instances where it like kind of failed hard. If you were wondering if birds could fly, I think I'm about to prove your theory.
Let me fly towards my hands, towards my hands. Let me fly towards my hands, towards my hands.
Let's get to a couple of annoying things. So the custom mode dial, we know. Also, you're locked into aperture priority when you make a custom mode, which you could lock yourself into manual if you wanted, but it would be nice to be able to do manual at some time. I'm in 6K 60 RAW, and then switch to manual and get the perfect shutter speed and do all that professional stuff. But you can't. With Sony's latest firmware, you can do the flexible exposure mode and have auto or manual any of the three. Tony's shutter boys. Isophilus. Now, this is the strangest thing I've noticed. The Z6 III has removed several key integral things for video that the ZF has. What are we doing? Waveform monitors gone. Can you punch in to focus while recording? No. Let me just confirm that it's in every mode. By the way, Nikon lens caps, best in the business. They're the only ones that have that piece that you pinch angled out so you have something to grab instead of it like always feeling like it's slipping. Beautiful. Okay, this is how professionals show you things. So like we're focused on the doorknob here, boom, punching in, that's nice. Then you can confirm your focus, sweet, okay, I can do that while recording, right? So boom, we're recording. Oh, why? All right, now we're in 4K 120, autofocus, hey, punching into, oh no, HD 240, you can. HD 240 lets you do it. I knew something would let me do it. But all the good modes, no thanks. But does any of it even matter when you see a deer come up to you and you look at him through a fence?
Buddy.
Hey buddy indeed. Hey buddy to you.
It's okay.
Oh man, I couldn't believe how close he was to me, or she.
Okay.
I was like, wow, can I get a better angle maybe? I think I could. I can definitely get a worse angle. I know that, and worse lighting. I was like, okay, that was a mistake. Went around the train tracks where I shouldn't have gone. I was banned for life from there, and I punched in there, of course, to the terrible low lighting shot. Then I scooted around, and yeah, it is definitely sharp and noisy and strange, but beautiful. I love that noise. I don't know why. I loved it on the Canon R5C. It was very noisy and raw, and like I don't care at all. So like all those dynamic range tests where it's like, oh, it's unusable noise floor though. You see that focus pull? Did you see it? I witnessed it. Like you could punch in on that a lot and see more details. It was beautiful. He winked at me when I focus pulled. He enjoyed it. She, for sure. Man, I couldn't believe it. And it's super stable. It's the best wildlife setup I've ever used in my life, hands down. Also the most annoying with that damn dial. I remember seeing a little plastic cap that kept this down and it fit around here, and then you can turn it without having to dig your nail in. I'm definitely going to be looking for one of those. So I don't know, nobody has them yet though, it's so new. And no, you bunch of lying hobos, when I said that, I complained about it and people were like, you should try a Nikon camera first before you complain. We have custom banks and all these one button press. There's no one button anything to change the frame rates. You can go into top my menu, okay, do that. You have to cycle between 10 frame rates to get from 6K 60 to 4K 120, and then HD 240 is in a separate section. You also have to change out of RAW to regular H.265. So that's a 2-thing switch. The dial is the solution, and you effed it up. I mean, I did not know this did 4K 120 RAW. So technically, you are better than my Sony a7S III in so many ways. For wildlife only, if you sniff a Sony a7S III, you will notice. I'm gonna compare them too. I'm gonna take the 200 to 600 out tomorrow, and we'll do a side-by-side. I'll carry 2 of these behemoth beasts, and we will discover the truth. But I want to see Sony's 4K 120 is only a 10% crop, but it isn't RAW. Is that different? And is 6K 60 RAW way better than Sony's? Oh my god. The HD 240 is pretty magical. It's not perfect. It's not super sharp or detailed or clean of the noise. It's missing the raw noise. I loved that. You can tell this is smushing the noise and it's no longer beautiful. It's not raw. So there's noise reduction happening here. And even though that thing with 15 wings just landed on that flower, it's not as nice, but it's still hot damn good. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll do the side-by-side with Sony, see if it's better. But for wildlife, because Sony has no prime and no Sigma lenses don't count, that's even worse stave. It doesn't sync. Drive that into your brain, Sigma boy. It's just superior in every way. Here's a little 4K 120 versus HD 240. I noticed it was really struggling here to latch on. It was latching onto that leaf in the front, so I was like trying to manually focus. And this is another thing I noticed. Sometimes I like that Nikon lets you just manual focus override. When you're autofocusing and it's not getting it, if you just start manually focusing, it's like boom, you're in it. You don't even have to press a button. But sometimes that doesn't stop the autofocus for some reason. It's just like, okay, and then I saw it like it was hunting again and the peaking turned on. It was very confusing. It might be a bug. I found a bug, but I'm getting used to the Nikon way of life. There was no deal breakers. I even have a button that I press in here and then cycle to turn manual focus on. It's not as good as one button. I don't know why you don't have a manual focus button that I can just press. Maybe you do. Don't blame me for not finding it. Here's a little 6K 60 versus 4K 120. They both look good. 6K definitely looks sharper. And if you punch in to match it, yeah, 6K looks a little sharper and better. Maybe more noisy? No. I don't know. I don't know what I'm even seeing right now. You know better than me. But it looks good. Both look good. It's not like Panasonic has that pixel to pixel mode that you punch in and it's not even different than just zooming in post. But this, you punch in and you get slower frame rates. So it's like, I like all three modes. 6K 60 for the ultimate resolution, then 4K 120 still looks really good, but a little slower. And then HD 240 for the magical sequences, which you'll find ahead. Not this particular shot, but he was pretty far away, and he noticed that I was trying to make a living, and he did not allow it. And I didn't even try to follow him. I just gave up. I was like, I'm not even gonna try. No, I'm done with following birds. And then it happened. I knew wood ducks were cute. Didn't know they could have babies. They can. Wood duck babies eating lentils on a lake. I could not believe myself. We're 4K 120 here. I was in duck detect autofocus, and it was doing a pretty good job, but it did go a little haywire at times, and I should have just went right into manual focus on that one, but I didn't. I was distracted by cute ducks. I moved around to get a better shot. I should have crouched, but there's all this grass, and that dragonfly did something to the water. He, like, put out a sonic boom, or there was a frog underneath. Something happened. Magical, huh? And if you were curious what terrible lighting 6K 60 versus HD 240 looked like, that's what that would do for you. Like, this was a terrible example, but I did it. And you can see it, like, yeah, 6K looks way better, but in certain moments, not this one, I would say the 60 frames per second is the better choice. You get to see what the ducks are doing, and they're all eating food, and it's all fun. That was too slow for that. But when a bird's flying, then okay, I want to see 240. Like when you have a sparrow friend, and he's winking at you, and he's just like, hey, hey, is that a camera? What's that, a Nikon? Oh no, I'm out of here. Why didn't you get Fuji? Oh, you should have. Don't you know they're coming with a 500mm lens? That's gonna be great. Fuji magic. What were you thinking? You bought that? How much was it? What? Almost $10,000? That's for this? Just for sparrow footage? You wouldn't have spent that. Come on, what was the real price? Did they give you a deal? Was it Camera Canada? They're good people over there. I think they are. But we got some magical sparrow action. I'm pretty happy. Last annoying thing that I don't seem to know how to turn off is when you make these raw files, which, by the way, that folder was like 184 gigabytes. Wow. So be prepared for some file storage. But when you make a raw video, it creates a proxy, like a 1080p file as well. Would love to turn that off because that's really distracting trying to organize this footage. I had to go in individually, the one right beside, and control tap, 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 delete those ones. And oh, that's annoying. There's no way to turn it off. I can't find a proxy menu. So there's a lot of things I would definitely love to improve. Let me turn this into a custom button instead. I would be in heaven. 4K 120, HD 240. Oh man, just let me have a way with the custom banks or something. Press a button, cycle between like that. I should never have to take my hand off this, but it was pretty comfortable. This thing's a little tiny. I can see you're probably going to want to invest in a better foot, and it does not have the Arca Swiss compatibility if you're a loser with a monopod. Grow up. But the reality is that was the first time I went out with this system, and I found like I felt at home. It was easy, like there was nothing fighting me really. Just like the odd thing, okay, I can't check focus on my most important modes. It's kind of annoying, but I could see when things were in focus. I didn't have to. It wasn't integral. And the autofocus was actually really good. So it's like, compared to everything I've ever used, it's like Panasonic was as stable, but their slow-mo doesn't have the autofocus. So it's like, oh, you just lose that. This is the easiest system ever, and the prime is the sharpest. It's like, oh, damn. Even though I want to whine continuously like a baby would about all the little annoyances, they don't stop you from getting good footage. You're just going to be itchy while you get it. It's just, oh God, I'm going to develop this hook hand trying to move that thing, but I'll find a way. But not bad, Nikon. Honestly, I thought I would be selling it immediately just after unboxing it and feeling that dial. And I was like, all right, I'll try it one time. but damn, that footage, and now it's so light, and it autofocuses, and the usability. For wildlife, yes. For this, I'm about to switch to the Nikon now. Sorry this video is so long. Did you hear that? It reminded me of this new thing that every time you go into the menu, it makes that shutter click. And it's just really annoying. It's like, okay, change that. Okay, oh. Stop that. That little, stop doing that. Let me turn that off. It's so annoying in the forest. Did that clip my audio? 4K 24 RAW, 12 bits, not 10. We're beyond that now. 40mm Tony 2, it's pretty relaxing. I don't know, Nikon's not my favorite for filming this type of stuff. Just the skin usually is very red. I haven't figured that one out. Don't know how to expose. I'm in aperture priority, so Nikon's exposing for me. Thank you, by the way. So, pretty good. I wanted to hate it and I thought I would return it. But now I can see just buying a teleconverter for this, 1.4, just for the odd extra reach. Don't even need it. Didn't need it one time today. If anything, there was a couple moments where it's like, oh, I had to back out a bit. But it was pretty good. Hot damn, happy. That sucks when you find the perfect camera on your search for the perfect camera, and now what do? Use it? So we're going for walks. A lot more walks coming. So thank you so much, Camera Canada, and everybody for donating Bitcoin. I said that weird. I'll leave. I've bothered you enough today. Something's flashing on that screen. That's not good. That was bad. Nikon. Subscribe, I'm understanding.